Welcome to Teams Tuesday, a podcast about mastering the best about what other people have already figured out. Teams Tuesday focuses on insights and lessons that never expire. You will walk away from every episode with actionable insights that help you get better results and be more productive.
This was about as bizarre and easy as it gets.
The client just couldn't make up their mind.
I feel like we had top.
Went from a project of 20 weeks to just 2.
The DevOps was a cultural shift.
This is Teams Tuesday with your host, Peter Ward.
Okay, welcome to Teams Tuesday. It's March 2023. We're rapidly going through the year. Got a great speaker, Teams Tuesday, Nandeep Natan, and he's talking about Microsoft Syntex. So welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, hi Peter. Thank you for having me here one more time. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you. Hope
no problem. And of course, you're in India. I'm in New York. What time is it in Pune?
Yeah, it is 9:45 p.m. right now. Almost 12 hours of difference. But yeah,
that is very
nice
true.
catching up with you. But yeah.
So you're talking about quite a hot subject, Microsoft Syntex. Just explain that. What is that, and why should people care about it?
Yeah, sure. So mostly like Syntex is not, I will not say it is a very new topic as such. It was there since the beginning, but right now the pace which is Microsoft Syntex is making up because of the newer features being launched in that. It is very good, and at least I can see a lot many people using that. So quickly, like what is Microsoft Syntex? Let's say, for example, let's talk about the enterprise, and then where we have lot many documents, right? So whenever we talk about documents, there are at least two aspects to the document. So first one is like how we are going to classify that document. So because let's say, for example, or an email or maybe or an Teams, we do receive lot many documents. But whenever we will receive any of the documents, not necessary that everyone will name that document correctly. Let's say even for HR, they might be getting too many emails about maybe resumes, but there is no standard nomenclature like how you should name your resume, right? For example, resume hyphen name of the person hyphen year of experience and everything. So it is pretty much difficult for a human being to open the document, try to see like what is the content inside that, and then classify that particular document. So Microsoft Syntax plays a very crucial role in the end to go ahead and classify the document. And then again, once you classify the document, the second major thing is extract out the information from that document. So let's say, for example, in the case of resume, so we need to make out like what is the name of the candidate, how many years of experience that person carries, what kind of an expertise that person carries. So all those are kind of an extractors. So even Microsoft Syntax goes into that, try to extract out the information. And then more cool feature that I saw from Microsoft Syntax is about the content assembly. So what happens mostly is we do have many of the repetitive business processes. Let's say, for example, we want to generate consulting agreements. We want to probably go ahead and start creating the repetitive business content for multiple vendors. And then let's say, for example, if your organization is very wide and you're dealing with hundreds or thousands of vendors or thousands of independent consultants, in that case, you want to go ahead with the repetitive kind of an information for everyone. Means not exactly repetitive, but based on what kind of services they provide, how much they charge to you. But the content is kind of a standard. Only the variable is like name of the person and everything. So in that case, Microsoft Syntax again is very useful, through which we should be able to automate that process as well. So even I will show the demo on that, but that is the way like Microsoft Syntax is taking up too much of space right now. It was still being used in the past. So I guess earlier it was known to be as the Cortex, and then again it came as a SharePoint Syntax, and now that we have something called as Microsoft Syntax. So this all those terminologies were in the market since I guess November 29 when it was officially launched as the Project Cortex. But with the Microsoft Syntax, it is picking up good pace, and again I can see a lot many AI capabilities being built into that.
Tell me, like, so you talked about with a lot of documents, you're looking at thousands and thousands of documents, where it's basically classifying these documents, depending on HR or sales or operations, correct?
Yeah, true.
So in terms of an organization with 500 employees, is that a good company to work with Syntex, or are we looking at more sort of like 10,000 employees?
Yeah, Miss, at least I will say, irrespective of the size of the employees or size of the transactions that you have, Microsoft Syntax has of offer everyone. So like, let's say for example, if it is a small organization, even in that case, obviously it will help you to automate all of your business processes. It will save your time in the redundant work. Let's say probably for the HR people, they want to always scan through the resumes, or maybe they want to scan through the official records and all those things. So in that case, they can simply create a model in Microsoft Syntax, and then that model will help you to classify your document as well as extract out the content from them. But yeah, miss, in the in the larger organization, it will have you more benefits. But even though, let's say for example, if any of the startup or growing organization, even for them, Microsoft Syntax has got many more features to offer.
Right. Okay. No, I have. And it's about what, $5 a month per user. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. It is $5 per month per user.
Okay. And is that with E3, or is that, can you do it with an E3 license, or do you have to go up?
I just need to check for E3, but I'm very much sure that this one is an add-on on E5. So if you have got E5, you can obviously go for add-on
Well,
with
yes.
Microsoft Syntax.
Obviously, just trying to think of the lowest
Yeah,
possible.
true.
The lowest possible one, because people always ask,
Yeah,
okay, this is great, can you use it with my E3 licenses? Because a lot of
E3,
people already get
correct.
E3 licenses.
Yeah.
All right, so very quickly, you're 3 times MVP. You've authored 3 books with A Press. Okay, very nice. And what are your books? You've written a couple of books. What are the books about?
Oh, yeah, Miss, at least my first book was on SharePoint Framework. The name of the book is Mastering SharePoint Framework. That was with BPP Publications. So that book more talks about SharePoint Framework, like how you can create the SharePoint Framework-based solutions, how you will be able to use SharePoint Framework for creating the enterprise applications, not just for SharePoint, but even targeting Microsoft Teams, maybe even targeting the Outlook for web. My second book was specifically onto understanding the hybrid environments with SharePoint 2019. So let's say, for example, if means at the time when I wrote that book, most of the organizations, they were on the transition from on-premises to the cloud environment. So that book will help you to get best of both the environments, like how you can go ahead, use the latest and greatest feature from the cloud. At the same time, how you will be able to get more flexibility, more security kind of features from your on-premises infrastructure. And the third book, which just got recently published, I guess just 3 months back, that one is on Microsoft Viva Connections. So like how you can go ahead, set up Viva Connections in your organization. What are the benefits that Viva Connections provides? And then like what are the business as well as technical aspects of setting up the Viva Connections. So
Understood.
those are my 3 books. Yeah.
Okay. Now you started your career off with Java, and then you moved into the Microsoft. It's a little bit of a leap. What year was this, and how did that happen?
Right. So, Miss, again, it is kind of a tragedy how I launched into Microsoft technology. So it's like when I started my career in the year of 2005, I started as the Java developer. So I used to work with EJB, Java Beans, all those kind of thing. So I was slowly taking up the pace in Java, and all of a sudden my project got over, and then at least I was just looking out for the newer project. At one day, I was at the coffee vending machine. Suddenly, the manager who took my interview in that organization, he was just behind me. He asked me like, what work do you do these days? So I just told him that I'm working on Java, but I'm looking out for the new project. So he mentioned to me that okay, we do have a project coming up in SharePoint. Would you like to join us? Okay, so I said yes. I don't know SharePoint, but he told me not to worry. I will get you trained on SharePoint. So at that point, means I was only knowing about .NET and everything, but probably I wasn't aware of SharePoint at that point of time. But that is how I started my journey with .NET, with SharePoint. So SharePoint 2003 was the first version which means I'm fortunate to have worked with, because SharePoint 2001 was the only version probably I wasn't able to touch upon. But rest of the SharePoint framework, oh sorry, SharePoint version specifically, I was able to work on. So yeah, means that was the story behind that, how I got into the Microsoft technology. But yeah, means at least that one day or maybe that one coffee just changed my life from Java developer to Microsoft technology developer.
You should go to the coffee machine more often, then, I think is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
on that. Okay, so you've got a rather cool demo coming up, haven't you? So do you want to share your screen and show us your demo and tell us what's the summary of the demo? By the way, the wallpaper's come off behind me, if anyone's wondering what has actually happened there. Okay, so carry on your demo.
Yeah. All right. So let me share my screen. Just let me know whenever you can see it. So before I miss probably quickly dive into the demo, probably I just want to spend some time talking about Syntex. So at least by now we know like what is Syntex, what does it offers, but we'll quickly see like how does it offer. So everything with Syntex works with models. And whenever we talk about models, we have got at least 5 models that we can directly go ahead and create in Syntex. But if you broadly look at it, we do have 2 types of model that we can create. So first one is the pre-built model, which are already trained by Microsoft, including invoice processing and receipt processing. The name are self-explanatory that it will help you to go ahead, process the invoices, process the receipts, because invoices and receipts, those are very much widely used type of an document. We do get lot many invoices, lot many receipts over the email or maybe over the Teams, and then we want to go ahead process them quickly, like to find out who is the vendor, how much that particular user has, sorry, that organization has charged, and all those things, right? So these two will give you that capability. On top of it, again, we do have custom models that we can create. So we don't have greater flexibility to go ahead and create those custom models, but still Microsoft Syntax offers you very good functionalities through which we should be able to target everything which we want to go ahead and create as the custom model. So what we can do with custom models is we can go ahead and use the teaching method, freeform selection, as well as layout method. So probably let's have a look at it one more time in quick. So whenever we talk about unstructured document processing, so it is something like there is a text which is identified based on some phrase or pattern. I do have few examples of that as well. So which includes probably letters or contracts that we want to go ahead with. The second type of custom model that we can create is maybe a free form document processing, wherein the information can be anywhere in the document, but at least we should be able to find out the information by tagging at the correct places. And the last one is pretty much simple, straightforward, that it is a structured document. So all of the documents, they will have a predefined structure. We just need to train our model to go ahead at that particular location, extract out the information. If I go further into that, this one is one example of unstructured document processing, a contract renewal document, which is, I guess, available onto the PNP repository, same kind of a document. So here, at least if you see, this one is entirely unstructured document. Information is probably not very well structured as you see. But what we can do to, yeah, miss, as I said, like whenever it is a document, we have 2 things in the document. First one is how you want to go ahead and classify the document. So how you can identify that this one is a contract renewal document. So let's say, for example, if we see something like a request for additional disclosure, this kind of an tag available or this kind of an paragraph available in your document, then this one is the unstructured document with the contract renewal. And then again, once we identify that document, once we classify that, we can go ahead and then we should be able to get the information which is right here. Maybe any of the word which is appearing just before has provided valuable service, or maybe the word which is term has expired, all those kind of a thing. So we should be able to go ahead and extract out that information, which is nothing but the unstructured document processing.
So
The second
question I have here is like, sometimes documents are not complete, they're in draft. Can it recognize, it's doing all this automated, can this figure out whether the status is draft, or if it's a business rule and say, no, I'm not going to structure this document?
Yeah, miss, mostly it is like whenever we are creating the custom models, we need to at least give 5 documents to it, which are in the published mode, so that it can go ahead and run its algorithm on top of those 5 documents. So if you're still working on a draft version, probably it is not a good candidate to create your custom model. So custom model always needs at least 5 documents through which it can be trained.
Okay, and works.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the second type of document processing that we have got is maybe free form kind of document, where the information will be same, but at least it can be spread across document with its own structure. The quick example here is again rent agreement, and all those documents are available onto the PNP repositories as well. So you can refer to that. So here we do have rent agreement kind of a thing. So here we can see that we do have information in various format, but that information is consistent. For example, whenever we talk about a rent agreement, obviously we do have landlord, tenant, property address, start date, end date, security deposit, monthly rent, all those common things. So what we can do is from here we should be able to identify this document as the agreement document, and then we should be able to train our model to go ahead and locate that information on those documents. So in one form it could be in a tabular format, in other document it could be just the paragraph kind of a thing, but we should be able to train our model and we should be able to get that information from those kind of documents, right? The third type of document or third type of a model that we can create is very straightforward. Like we do have, let's say consider we do have two of our vendors who are submitting their invoices to our organization. Again, the example are available on the PNP repositories. So all those examples are from the PNP repository itself. So if in case you want to go ahead create the custom model, you can directly refer to that. So here we do have two vendors. First one is Adatum, and then we do have a Contoso. So Contoso always give the invoices probably in the form of scanned documents, and then Adatum gives nicely PDF generated documents. So in that case, again, even though the vendors are different, since it is an invoice, it will have a common information like name of the vendor, the total amount, any kind of taxes, as well as the invoice number, all those kind of thing. So again, we should be able to go ahead, train our model by creating a collection for each of the vendor, and then we should be able to extract out the information from there. So mostly this one looks very simple, but when it comes to the reality, it helps it helps your organization to simplify most of the things. Mostly, at least, you should be able to save hours of efforts from the people who are going manually through these documents, scanning them, and noting down all of those things. Okay,
Well, it's
so
not just
definitely this one helps.
it's not just the manual, but it's also
Hmm.
it's all you're not relying on end users to mess
Correct.
it up. I'm assuming.
True. So means it will take away your manual efforts as well as it will ensure that the work done is very accurately. So without any kind of an human errors. Again, one example is like let's say for example, if you want to revalidate like what you have been charged by your vendor, in that case we do have all of those listing, like how the vendor has charged to you. You can refer back to the same items from your repository just to make sure that whatever vendor has charged to you is what they should have charged, right? So it is again another kind of an cross verification functionality that we can implement with this.
Okay.
All right, so coming to the demo part. So, okay, so what I'm going to demo now is about the content assembly, which is again a very good feature, and at least we have been using it mostly. So what is mean by content assembly is like most of the times we do have a standard repetitive business structure. Let's say, for example, we do have contracts, service agreements, letter of consent, or any kind of an repetitive business format that we want to go ahead do it for each of our vendors or maybe for multiple people. So in that case, what we can do is SharePoint or at least this Microsoft Syntex provides you with something called as a modern template. So modern template is pretty much simple. You can just create your modern template in Word file. So this is one of the example of the modern template for the consulting agreement. So what you can do is you can just start by plain Word document, start typing your content, and then at the places where we want to go ahead and replace that content with the actual name, you can just have any placeholder. Not necessarily those has to be this HTML or XML looking format. Even you can have something like this. Only thing is like you should have something through which you should be able to identify this is the name. Add dynamically, I want to go ahead replace this name with the actual name. So you can keep a reference of all of those dynamic placeholders in your Word file. So let's say we do have now client name, contract name, then probably what are the services provided by that particular vendor, and then again the compensation being paid to that vendor as well as the other information like the start date, end date, all those things. Again, those placeholder they can be repetitive. So we have multiple places where the client name or the contractor name has been mentioned. So we can just go ahead, start creating our own format, and then when the renewal period will come, we want to generate the same kind of an business repetitive standard content for everyone. What we can do is we can just simply go ahead and create standard or the modern template out of it, and then we should be able to use that. So how we can see, like, what happens is whenever you will go ahead and create the Microsoft Syntax on your tenant, or at least subscribe to the Microsoft Syntax on your tenant, you can just go ahead and open up any of the document library. So let's say this is the
Does it
yeah.
only work with Word documents, or does it work with PDFs?
At this moment, it is only limited to Word documents. So that means docx and doc format, DOC and DOCX format.
Oh, nothing on
Unfortunately, no.
Excel or PowerPoint or anything.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, means at least as of now, no. But definitely, even that functionality should come in very soon. Means at least I don't know that, but it should be there sooner. Okay, so what can happen in that case is right now you can already see that I do have a consulting agreement. But for example, whenever we want to go ahead and start creating those kind of documents, so whenever you will go ahead and set up the Microsoft Syntax on your tenant, and you will go to any of the SharePoint document library under new menu, here you should be able to see something called as create modern template. Okay, so this functionality is not available on any SharePoint site, but once you go ahead set up Microsoft Syntax for your organization, you should be able to see this. So once you click on create modern template, this one will give you the prompt to go ahead and upload that document. So even that document could be from your SharePoint itself, or you can just quickly, or even it can be from your OneDrive from any of the SharePoint site, or you can just
Got a quick question here. Can we use Syntex to extract data from dynamic text files and approve each of these files?
Correct. So means for a document, there are some limitations. So let's say, for example, let me just open up the sites. So let me just quickly show you that. So in a SharePoint, we do have a type of site when it comes to Microsoft Syntax. We call it as a document center. So in the templates, for example, if I go for document center, yeah, here it is. Okay, so if I just open up any of the document center, whenever we will go for creation of the custom model, we do have certain limitations, but at least those are not very hard limitations, like what kind of file type we can use, and then how many minimum number of documents that we need to go ahead and train for that. So this is the content center, and from this content center we should be able to go ahead and define our models. So on the content center, I will just click new. Under new, I will select model, and then here you will get that option to either select the pre-built model or a custom model. Let's say in this case, we want to go ahead with this layout method. So this one will show like what are the supported file types. So if in case we want to go ahead extract the information from a file which has got certain tables and everything, we are limited to use PDF, PNG, and JPG format. But again, it has got good support for at least 73 languages. But yeah, miss, as of now, for example, if you have something in text file, probably we won't be able to use that. So there are still limitations, but we can live with those limitations because the offering from this Microsoft Syntax are very good beyond all those limitations. Because mostly like it does supports all of the file format, even though let's say for example if you have a Word file, we can easily get it converted to image or a PDF file, maybe using any of the extensions, and then from there we can just supply that document to the Microsoft Syntax and let the syntax handle the other part, right? So there are certain limitations while we create the custom models as of now, but we can overcome those limitations. Those are not hard limitations saying that we won't be able to use Microsoft Syntax. All right, so coming back here, so now that we want to go ahead and create a modern template out of this consulting agreement that we have created. So what we can do now is, since I have this file onto my machine, I can just go for browse this device, and then I will select that document. Once I do that, this one will give you a place, kind of a canvas, wherein you should be able to go ahead, define like where those placeholders are in your file, and then how you want to go ahead and replace those placeholders dynamically, right? So now that I know that I have a client name here, so I'll just select that. I will click on new field. So my selection is here. I will just call it as a client name. So you can call it as anything that you want. Again, for example, if you have got multiple instances of the same replacement, you can go ahead, start putting all those instances. So as soon as I select here, all those information are here. And then we just need to go ahead and confirm that. I guess, yeah, at three places, I do have this client name. So I can go ahead, select that. The next thing is that once you select the placeholders in this modern template, you need to define like what kind of a data this particular template or this particular information represents. So whether it is a single line of text, multiple line of text, number, date, time, because dynamically when you will generate the documents based on that, you need to go ahead and replace those with the actual values. So for that reason, we need to have the actual type of this content being represented here. So I can just select it as a single line of text, or let's say, for example, if you have choices to be selected from, in that case, you should be able to also select that from a document library. Or if you have defined your managed metadata already, even you can select that from here. Okay, so I will just click on save here. If you want to go ahead, create another field, let's say maybe contractor name in this case, we'll just go ahead and define it as a contractor name. Okay, and I will just click on confirm. Okay, so we'll just go ahead, click and single line of text. That's it. So we do have multiple things, but probably I will not spend time in showing all those things. So once we are happy with mapping all of those fields onto which we want to go ahead and generate the content, we can simply click on publish. Before that, if you have got any name for this template, you can click this pencil icon onto the left hand top corner to go ahead and start use that as the name of your modern template. So I'm just calling it as a consulting agreement demo in this case, and then I will click on publish. Right. So during publishing, it will ask you like which are those templates or fields that you want to get associated with your template, and do you want to show them onto the default view of your library. So we'll just select both the options and we'll click on publish. So as soon as we will publish this template will be available for everyone to go ahead and create the documents out of it. So now that once we click on new, here we have got that consulting agreement demo. But what I will do is I will just go ahead and use the one consulting agreement, because over there I have all the fields mapped in. So here at the top, you can see that there are 5 fields that we should go ahead and start filling out to make this document complete. This is the same document that I have shown, which has got client name, contractor name, the agreement cost, and all those things. So what we can do is here it can show that this contract date is appearing at 2 times. In this document, client name is appearing at 3 times, and so on. So we can quickly go ahead, select any of the date onto which we want to go ahead, create a contract, probably next Monday. I will select here as a Contoso. Here probably I will just go ahead and select Fabricam. Services provided by Fabricam to Contoso, probably IT and admin. So I will go ahead and select that. And compensation, something like $5,000 per month. Okay, very expensive, right? And then I can just click on create document. As soon as I hit create document, it will ask you to name that document. So I will just say Contoso and Fabricam. Okay. So what it will do is now it will generate the content by replacing all of those instances which we have replaced from this right hand side panel into the document, and then we have our new document ready. So here you can see that this is the document that just got created, and once you open up this form, or once you open up this document, this one has been downloaded now, but this one will have all of those replacement. So this one will definitely help you to go ahead and create those repetitive kind of an information with your standard business template. Now that, let's say, for example, if you want to take this one bit ahead and want to automate that, in that case, we do have good reference from Power Automate. So now that I'm into Power Automate portal, make.powerautomate.com, I already have a flow created for this, which I will just show you, but it is very simple flow that has got just 2 actions, and then we are good to go with that. So let me just edit this flow. So in this flow, we are using the action which is available from Microsoft Syntex, which we can go ahead and generate the document. So the use case now that what we have is, let's say we have one SharePoint list wherein we are storing the information about all of the vendors for which we want to go ahead and generate the documents. So we do have this vendor details list here. And whenever a new item is being created into this vendor list, we want to go ahead and generate the document using Microsoft Syntex for that information. So this particular list has got certain things like name of the client, contract name, contract date, services provided, same thing what we had in the document. So let's say, for example, in this case, again, I will go for Contoso. Here, maybe let us go ahead with addendum. Contract date, I will select today's date itself. Again, services provided and compensation may be 10,000 per month. Okay. All right. So this is the information that we have and with which we want to go ahead and generate the documents. Okay. So the next action that we have got here is available directly from Microsoft Syntax. It is in still in preview, but with which what we are doing is we are getting the address to the document library where we want to go ahead generate that document. If you have any specific folder, you can even specify that path. Here we do have a specific file name with which that agreement will get created, and then these are all of the field inside of your modern template like contract date, client name, and everything. So whenever you will supply that information from this new SharePoint list, it will go ahead and create that item into a SharePoint list. All right. So what I will do is I will just run this manually so that the workflow will run and then we should be able to see the document getting generated. Okay. So with this SharePoint list, we will go ahead, save this item, and then workflow should get triggered now, and then it should be able to go ahead and generate the document based on the information that we have provided. Okay, so from here we can see that this is the item that got created just now, and out of it, it has created one consulting agreement with the name of Contoso hyphen add item, the naming convention that we had followed in the workflow, and then all of the information should be here. So just to show you that, I can again go back to the site contents and we will select the consulting agreements. And here we should have the document. So this is the document that we have seen. Okay, so this one has got downloaded, or let me just check if I can open that in a preview. Okay. Okay, looks like it is not following my browser. But okay, but yeah, means at least only thing is like when the new document will be opened, this one is still the old document, but okay. Yeah, so now here you can see that everything has been replaced. So the vendor name has been replaced with Contoso add item. So this feature will help you to generate those bulk kind of and repetitive content so that you don't need to spend time maybe for renewal of your contracts and everything. You can just maintain everything into a SharePoint list. Just use the Power Automate to go ahead and generate all those documents. Even you can take it furthermore. If you want to generate maybe a PDF document out of it, even send it via an email to everyone to go ahead and sign up digitally. All those things are possible. So this is kind of a powerful thing that we have in the Microsoft Syntex.
Okay.
So yeah, Miss, at least that was the demo I just wanted to show you. And another cool thing before I hand it over to you. Now that let's say, for example, we have created lot many documents here. I just want to go ahead and quickly search for those documents. So even for that, Syntax has got good searching capabilities. This is a document where we have got certain documents. So as soon as I will click on this search box, here you can see that we do have advanced search options. Okay, so if I click on this advanced search options, here you should be able to see that we can add more options. And here we do have client name. Okay, so here we have got certain client names. Let me just try to search that with Contoso. So I can select this filter, client name contains Contoso, and I can quickly search for that. So if there are any matching documents, it will clearly show you. So that means that we don't need to create those managed properties and everything into the search, but this Microsoft Syntax will automatically create those properties for you in the background, and then you should be able to direct go ahead and search for that content, which is these are the two cool features that I see clearly into the Microsoft Syntax.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. So, couple of quick questions on this. This is only with Word. Is it in the roadmap? Excel and PowerPoint. Is that in the roadmap?
Yeah, Miss. At least I did not get a chance to see that, but definitely those options should come sooner. So I don't know exactly when those will be. I did not follow the roadmap in the last couple of weeks, but those options should be here very sooner.
Yeah. Very cool. And obviously, if you categorize the wrong documents, you've got to redo the whole thing, haven't you? That could take a
Correct.
day,
Yeah,
you know,
true.
if not a
Correct.
week.
Correct.
So this is obviously M365. Is there an on-prem version 2019, or is it all on-prem basically? Is it all in the cloud, M365?
Correct. Yeah, means at least Microsoft Syntex is right now only limited to M365. So the idea from Microsoft is like we can just use the AI builder kind of and capabilities from Power Platform as well as from the Microsoft Azure, and then use it to create our models, extend it to SharePoint, other M365 areas. But yeah, this functionality is right now limited to Microsoft 365, not to on-premises as of now.
Okay, very cool. Well, thank you very much. This is all good. This is, Microsoft is like Viva, and this is like on the hot subjects of Microsoft, aren't they? Really are.
Yeah, definitely. And those are very good features through which you should be able to save most of your time. And again, bringing the productivity so that because these are kind of in the repetitive process, and with the repetitive kind of an work, obviously humans are tend to make the mistakes as well as they tend to lose the interest. So definitely these things are automating, even though if you see like those are very smaller features, but they are adding more values for everyone.
Perfect. All right. And Nandi, thank you for your time. And this is recorded. It'll be up on our website and on my blog and LinkedIn probably in the next day or so. So Nandi, top stuff, top demo. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here one more time.
Pleasure.
And hope you enjoyed.
See you soon. Bye.